Non-tariff measures are not so straightforward to define because in the end they're everything that is not a tariff. So for our report we've had to narrow that down, and mostly we've emphasised public policy non-tariff measures, that is non-tariff measures that are introduced for public policy objectives rather than those that may substitute for tariffs or might be used for various administrative functions of government. This is about things that supersede trade because they are public policy and they're important. It may change the pattern of trade, it may change the direction of trade, or it might change the quantity, the volumes of trade as well.
These non-tariff measures are important determinants of international trade and investment. A clear trend is, in my view, emerging, where non-tariff measures are less about shielding producers from import competition, an area where non-tariff measures can often simply be characterized as non-tariff barriers. Instead, the focus is increasingly on the attainment of a broad range of public policy objectives. You could say that we are moving from protection to precaution.
Governments employ public policy measures precisely because you can't leave everything to the markets, and there are certain areas where governments must take responsibility for public policy. The difficulty for us is that our challenge is to try to render public policies consistent with, harmonious with, trade policy, so that we can make sure that the public policy objectives are amply catered for without necessarily undermining trade through perhaps the protectionist use of non-tariff measures. I think it's important to recognise that public policies have become increasingly important in international trade relations. This is because of increased interdependency. It's because of a growing awareness amongst consumers of public policy. It's because there are new issues that have come onto the horizon, like climate change. So we see an increasing concern about the public policy aspect of international cooperation.
So you have the environment, which is an accepted public policy priority. They take measures to protect the environment, and some of those measures might conflict with the rules of trade. So what you need to do is find a sort of common ground between the two, a way in which trade objectives can be pursued, but also environmental objectives, and it should not at all be impossible.
Containing protectionism is a vital component of a successful exit from the present difficulties affecting the world economy. So in this respect, the recourse to non-tariff measures necessitates short-term vigilance. This multiplication of public policy measures raises a number of challenges for the multilateral trading system and for WTO. More transparency is needed. We know far less than we should about the existence and the effect of public policies that carry potentially significant trade effects. This means that information on the measures themselves, while necessary, is not sufficient. It is crucial to assess how much the measures diverge from each other or from international standards.
We should maybe take better advantage of Article 3 of the GATT in relation to national treatment, as products may not be the same if there is a contravention with an environmental agreement or with a health regulation. The other avenue that I promoted was to think better in terms of mutual supportiveness. Mutual supportiveness means that there is a taking into account that there are several international organizations which have competence in a certain area, and there is a need for all these organizations and the member states to work together.
I think it's extremely significant that this year's World Trade Report is on the subject of non-tariff measures. And it clearly, I think, indicates that we've understood that the future of trade depends on trade finding harmony with the range of public policy objectives: food safety, health, environment, employment, and many others that people care about and that governments care about. We can't have measures that regulate trade on the one hand and then a whole series of public policy measures on the other hand if they're not working well together. And I think that this report is actually a very important first step in recognizing that, and I think that the future of the WTO, the future of the trading system, will actually be focusing on how you bring those two sides together to get what both sides need.